We'll just repeat for the record that there was a motion by Paula to nominate Richard McCallie to serve as the chair and Macaulay, excuse me, and a second by Chris Hurd, and the vote was unanimous. Thank you.
Thank you. Now, by the way, what do we do about remote access? Because I know that the notice says we're open, you can access via internet. Are we online?
We are online.
Yeah.
And there is a Zoom meeting link included on the agenda.
And do we know if anybody has actually?
Nobody has clicked in.
Okay, all right. And so if anybody should click in, you're the meeting orchestrator.
I can do that.
You can do that, let them talk, you can, okay, great.
I will
Just trying to plan ahead.
I will let you know if somebody raises their hand or would like to make a comment.
Okay, great.
I do think, and we touched on this before, so we're in that situation, but I think we should have a time for people to talk. Just to have people come to the table, they must well be on that committee. I don't think you gotta be careful of that, because you get into some situation, we got a lot of people, we won't get anything done. So, you can certainly control that. I mean, I've been on these things before, next thing you know, we got some third party, they consumed the whole meeting, you know.
Yeah.
Just to preempt that.
Yeah.
Well, I move we adopt the minutes as printed.
Second.
All in favor? Okay, meeting minutes are approved. So the next thing we've got under new business is a review and discussion of the comprehensive plan goals and strategies. And I thank you again, Shannon, for the two very useful documents you had. I found this self-assessment checklist to be a very useful document. I mean, it's a lot of detail, but it actually boils down a lot of what's out there in the regulatory requirements and puts it into a checklist fashion. And then, you know, the nice thing is there are 3 areas that we can kind of check off already because they're going to be handled by AVCOG. And that leaves a significant area of others. And I'd suggest, well, so the two roadmaps we've got here in effect, one is the roadmap that you prepared, Shannon, which really gives us a timeline. And can I ask you, how did you go about putting that together? What was your?
I use artificial intelligence a little bit.
I
took the chapter 208 rule.
Yeah.
And I uploaded that.
Yeah.
And I asked it to create a timeline for a year beginning in April and ending in May of 2027.
Yeah.
And to focus on with a list of all the chapters.
Yeah.
And so then it produced something, and then I took I actually did another one, and then I took some of the key points under each of the timelines and I incorporated it there, so that way we could highlight the tasks that needed to be done.
Wow.
And so those are numbered.
I'm impressed.
Very nicely done.
That's fantastic. That's fantastic.
Oh, yeah. Wow.
So, I know that, well, maybe we should start with the 20,000 foot, because I mean, what we've got down here is goals and strategies. I think those are embedded in here, but maybe we just throw it open for a general brainstorming about what you see as the goals of the whole process and how we get there. And you have the benefit of experience because you've done this before, Lloyd, so.
And Ford has also been through this a couple of.
I've been through some of it.
Right.
Maybe I corrected myself last time. I thought I was on the committee last time, but I looked at the thing, I wasn't, so. I must have been interfacing because I was chair of the planning board for 20 years, but I'm probably interfacing from there. But I remember all this stuff, you know. So I corrected.
Okay.
I think that there's basically a disjunction between the vision and it's a cynical observation that a lot of people make about town comprehensive plan. First thing to do is to say, oh, we want the town to stay the same, we want everything there, and then all sorts of things happen that aren't staying the same. And this makes me personally just cynical about the options. I argue unfortunately, they would just forget it. Just don't worry about it, because it doesn't matter. Most of this is set, is law set, we got zoning this thick, everything else is already set. The only variables really are in these first 4 chapters where we lay out what those issues are. And those might create some new ideas and might change the strategies. Now, knock on wood, but but the Androscoggin Lake's been green for 3 out of 4 years. Is it gonna be different? This may, but this is, and this is an unusual year. In terms of water flow and everything, there's nothing like the usual spring upswing you get. What that means, we can't tell if it's either, but that ought to be a key theme through all of this thing. Is it just a technical matter, it's a small matter, it's pretty important to everybody, plus it gets us into cooperating with leads, if they're going to cooperate. So that's one thing that troubles me. Then we gotta make sure that is integrated into all of these different areas. It's gonna affect the housing, it's gonna affect recreation, transportation. And we're gonna have a study done soon, which has the water flow. Give us some recommendations about that, but basically, I would urge that we give minimal attention to the vision statement, because it might change as we go, but just not spend a lot of time on it, because it doesn't get you anywhere, frankly. It basically says nice things. I
Yeah,
hope everything will be good, but it's not that world, it's not that kind of world. So that's one thing. I think the question of housing is gonna become more and more critical. It is, and not clear what role the town should play. And that's gonna go through a whole variety of things beyond just statistics, beyond that, the statistics are easy, that's all there, you can put it together. It seems to me that between the lake, Androscoggin Lake, and the connection to the other lakes, and the need for housing. The need for housing has really got to be seen as part of a regional thing. And all of this comes down to something that we could be frank about in this report if we want to. I think the town government is plain obsolete.
say that again, the town
Town
government
government is obsolete.
is obsolete.
It's already obsolete, and it could become more and more clear over the years. But it's gonna come up, we're already cooperating with other communities about several things without even realizing it. But we are cooperating with leads where it's really important.
But when you say obsolete, I mean, are you saying specifically because it shouldn't be limited to the town, it should be regional, or what are you saying?
That's the big thing, it should be regional, housing is a perfect example. Weed is a high priced land, and it's hard to organize the way to make it happen, although we did do, I think, an all-time record of 10 houses built permitted last year. Could you get that for us, that around, that was his 2025 report?
Yes, in 2025 for our building.
Yeah, well,
Permits?
there is a whole thing, it's a report about 2 or 3 pages.
So we've got to gather all that information
Yeah.
anyway. So that-
Right, so-
Yeah.
So those are just random observations that say that we gotta alert to things that are the future. Working together with our neighbors. It says that in this report, that we gotta have better, how much have we actually accomplished in the 10 years? Very, very little. It was all that I know of, was already at least in the terms. When do we do the the transfer station.
Oh,
That was
what
the
is it?
transfer station.
Oh,
That was already well underway though, right?
oh, yeah, it was 20 years ago.
Yeah, so, well, that was an obvious thing. We're now facing it with schools. Or we're gonna have to build ourselves our own because of the importance. It's become clear that a lot of people care about it. Do they care enough to pay the cost? But do they want to see a declining community? Because that's what happens. You close the school, you'll see slower, and people my age will fall out of the picture one way or another. Our houses are too big. And they won't be moved into by families, they'll be moved into by rich people from somewhere else. And totally change the community. We've already seen too much of that. In fact, I was hoping that a certain person would run for the select board, because I think that it's important to have somebody with dirt in their fingernails. And a select board. But they didn't. Do you know, did we get that one that you thought was possible?
We have one person that's
Ah.
currently on the ballot for
Good.
select board.
Ah.
There's still one vacancy that
Are
would
you in
be,
a position to tell us who it is, so we know?
Lauren, it's right up on the board, I'll check.
Oh.
But it's a Lauren, she was at the select board meeting last week,
Oh, okay.
Lauren Mateer.
And she's a parent of a school child?
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh.
She was sitting.
So-
The one who was sitting right next. Right.
Well, those are just random notions. Does anybody have a reaction to this?
Interesting.
I think, Lloyd, I think we're kind of in the big picture, but I agree, a lot of stuff can be reasonable, I'm not sure I agree with, the government's obsolete yet, but. We definitely should do reasonable
It's
stuff,
shifting. We have.
Yeah, I think
more things, yeah,
and I totally agree, housing,
yeah.
for us to do a housing project in East Bridget. We don't have the support, we don't have the infrastructure, we don't have the. Travel, logistics.
Yeah. Now,
Something, anyway, but
Yeah.
recently, yes, schools, we're already regionally.
Mhm.
Fire department maybe needs to go, we do mutual aid, but fire department, they need to be regional, I mean, we're not gonna tell them what to do here, we're just gonna maybe suggest something. And we get back to your question, what are our goals? I don't know if we can list them, I think this is pretty good.
Yeah,
Oh,
I
yeah.
think if we just work this framework, and we may not stick to the time frame, thank you very much, but I think if we work this framework, and if we find we're off course, we can correct.
Yeah, yeah,
So that's what I suggest.
yeah. It's
But all
very
these
helpful
things-
to have a roadmap.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's nice to have something.
Yes.
And that, I think that's very good. I was kind of sweating out a little to do that. But if you took this thing here, you kind of randomly get down to it in the work. The other thing would be to take our comp plan, because we don't need to reinvent this whole wheel here.
oh, yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
And we could just start and say, okay, everybody, we're gonna cover section 1, 2, and 3 next meeting, so get up to speed on that. I need that kind of direction, because I'd be reading it this afternoon.
So would I.
Maybe, and, you know, that would be another little direction for it, in my mind.
Yeah, yeah.
Do what you want.
Yeah. Lynette?
I also agree that housing is of primary concern to so many people in town, and the school and the lake. We've got a lot of hits to the town this year. I do want to speak about the vision just a little bit, because working on the ordinance for the campground, we used some of the language from this vision statement to justify the way that we wrote the campground ordinance. In to keep. We were leaning more to a more restrictive ordinance, and a lot of that language backing it up came from this vision statement, trying to figure out what do we want Wayne to look like, and including a resort that can have on a busy weekend 3,000 people is not in keeping with the vision for the town of Wayne. So I don't want to completely discount the vision statement. I don't think we should nitpick it. I don't think we should work it to
Yeah.
death. But it does have some value for people who are trying to write ordinances. Or at least it should. It should guide you when you're writing those ordinances.
Yeah, when I say the town government of Sully, for example, we got about 5 people full-time in this office. To manage the affairs of 1,300 people. Does that sound sensible to you?
Yeah.
It just doesn't. Now, one thing I want to ask you about is, You said you used internal, artificial intelligence to put this together, or what are the documents?
That one.
I think we should talk about our artificial intelligence is gonna change the labor it needs. And
Right.
maybe it will reduce those.
I don't think we know, but it's gonna do something.
Yeah, I don't even know what it means, actually, I don't know anything about it, but, we're gonna have a channel presentation on that, or somebody who does, and, you might have some ideas of who those people are. But clearly the core of town government will continue to exist. There's no question about that, but the functions are gonna have to be regionalized, and there's have to be a regional. Oh, darn. I've never said that, I'll send you tomorrow, I'm getting a speech. Which basically I'm gonna say the town government's, it is immobilized, it is, look at the size of the towns we have in Maine. Most of them are smaller towns. And yet we've got a governor structure that's designed for cities of 50,000, 20,000. And what we're gonna say is, and that people are gonna just scream, but I'm willing to have people scream. There needs to be a county health officer for every county. And the septic tank regulation has gotta be handled at the septic, at the step down, and all of our rules in there. Basically nothing. Now we're paying for it. Now we're paying for it big time. So we're gonna have to have some way of getting those decisions out of local control.
Were you finished?
Yes, it was. Yeah, thank you. Yeah.
Chris, any thoughts?
Yeah, so I guess I'm interested in on the back end, right? The implementation plan, the evaluation program. Do we have a document that kind of shows in a 5-year, like 5 years later after 2016, was there some sort of evaluation?
What happened to the last ones? So what you're saying?
Yeah, or what happened to this document in terms of implementation,
How many
successes,
things were down?
successes and failures, right? So, okay, it's 100+ pages. It's not an easy read. And, so when you get to the back of it and it's time to implement things, how easy is it to do that? And
Not so easy. That's one question I can answer.
right, I'm leading to that.
That's where the rubber meets the road, the rest of it's gathering.
Right, it's all really good stuff.
Yeah.
It's like amazing content. But then at the end, it's sort of like if we could just come up with like a really short list of, meaning like 2 pages of, here's the top things that we really recommend. And that we could bring, and then it requires funding, so you have to go and ask for money at some point. So that it needs to be, easy to, I think, to digest, so that when you put it in front of a bunch of people, like if we do and we should obviously do a community engagement part of this thing. It's sort of like, we need to keep it tailored, I guess, more towards a shorter attention span. I think, which might help be successful. But do we have the 5-year, any information about 5-year?
Evaluation.
I don't think
Yeah,
we do. I don't think we do.
Okay,
It was just a,
so it didn't happen.
2021.
was the painful phenomenon of the overworking. We're constantly telling our town manager back then, take a day off, take some time off, don't keep it. And he
Yeah,
didn't.
yeah.
And he didn't have time to do this. He was dealing with staff shortages, he was running the front desk of the hotel, so both
Yeah,
over and more than I participated like. Now, we're at probably 3 years into it, and we have got that problem solved.
right.
Through somebody right over the corner here.
Yeah.
Who's got slowly getting on to things, but you've still got a big agenda, right?
And I guess
So,
I would,
well, there ought to be more, some way to hold people accountable for that five-year assessment.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I have one question that relates to Chris's point, I think about follow-up. I'd say that one of the first, in fact, the first listed goal in the back on at page 103 was developing a village center development advisory committee to get input about, development in the town.
So
Right.
there.
What happened?
Okay,
What happened?
a little bit of that did happen.
Okay,
In the work that was done in front of the general store and that sidewalk that continues up onto Old Winthrop Road and the reconfiguring of that intersection. So there. And that was thanks to our previous town manager. He really did take the bull by the horns on
And you
that.
know,
and push.
an idea of, so what has changed is that used to, that wasn't paved until about 5 years ago. 5 or 6,
Well,
Bridge Street and what in between, the whole, the exit between the
Post office
post
and
office,
Tubby's.
the Tubby.
Yeah.
That wasn't paved.
Right,
Uh,
and also there was no sidewalk
yeah,
from
that's right.
the general store onto Old Winthrop Road.
Yeah.
And there was no turning lane, so all of that was part of, it came from this.
Right.
But
I guess, the other thing that jumps out to me is the issue of prioritization. It's sort of like,
Yeah.
okay, all of these things are great.
Yeah,
It's an awesome list. What's the important stuff? What's the stuff that we really, because at the end of the day, we're probably not gonna be able to implement.
that's the
everything.
trouble with this thing. It sort of assumes that
Yeah.
all seems, so we follow the plan. We
Right.
follow their thing, and the truth is that they're not all, they're not, well, two things, we spend a lot of time on internet. Remember that the town manager and Stan, unfortunately, that was someplace Stan really wanted. Oh, we spent for over 2 years, we
Right,
spent
on that.
large amounts of time on.
on what?
And
on
nobody's
on internet access.
Yeah.
Internet access,
Yeah, yeah.
my internet.
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
now it's a whole nother story too.
Well, and had we gotten that grant, it could have come to a lot, but we didn't, so it didn't.
Well, thank God.
It's,
That was a gift. That was a blessing in disguise that we didn't get the grant because it's here anyway.
yeah,
And it didn't cost us anything. Now,
Not in my house.
it isn't everywhere, but it's coming.
It's not in my house.
City and Valley House.
No,
The style is,
yeah, but by Sally.
well, so you want somebody else to pay
There
for
were-
it. You want the Carolina. Kyle, my son Kyle.
Yes, I was just letting Chris wrap up with his comments, and then I was gonna ask you. for your
Oh,
comment.
thank you very much, Chair Mackin. So I'd just like to point to the statute, because I think that also helps to give us some guidance on the priorities that we need to, focus on, because there are many requirements that we need to adhere to in order to be in compliance with the requirements of that the state imposes upon us for the comprehensive plan. And that is section 4326 of the growth management program elements. And many of the things that we're talking about, we don't have a copy. I printed off, I did a search
Is
and
this a 208 thing you thought, that's the 208?
it comes,
Okay.
it stems from a larger element of the growth management program elements, section 4326. And
I think 208 is last year's legislation that you're thinking of.
No, I'm just.
right, so I have this, and maybe if it's useful, we could print this off for folks too. But many of the things that we've been talking about fall under the statute that we have to respect and adhere to. One of the things that that community members have already spoken out about that we have to respect is the need for community input.
Yeah.
And they mention in the statute that we have to get community input, and that a needs assessment must be conducted. And it has to identify conditions within the municipality or multi-municipal region. So this harkens back to some of the things that Lloyd has mentioned about using a multi-municipal orientation. And those items that are focused on for this needs assessment are housing, economic growth and development, protecting public health, safety and welfare of the community, and protecting the environment and critical resources. So those are the three general areas that the needs assessment would need to focus on. And I think any sort of assessment of the community, focus group discussions, survey. Probably we would want to structure them according to those three topic areas so that we're in compliance with the statute and help to organize our our questions according to that. And
Where's that document live? The document that you're referring to?
It's
That's a statute.
it's in, you
Okay.
can get it off of like
Okay.
Legisland or
Yeah.
and I can share the link too.
That would be really helpful.
Yeah, I will. I
Yeah.
found it just
Just
when
email
I
it
was
to us.
preparing for the meeting today. I didn't have a chance to share it. It also talks about, you know, the guidelines for policy development. It talks about regional coordination. It talks about future land use planning, and it talks about the implementation program. So all of these things that, you know, we're kind of that we've been referring to here.
It's all in there.
We have to do it, whether we think they're effective or whether we think they're not effective.
Yeah.
They're part of the statute and they're important and we must do them.
You know, when you, can I,
Sure, please.
the three areas in needs assessment, I'm vaguely remembering. The last time that this was done, that there was a series of gatherings at the Lab Center.
Mhm.
And they were topic focused. When you said the three, I went, oh, I think we had three separate meetings that we put out, you know, public
Oh,
gatherings
okay.
to look at
Mhm.
housing, to look at safety, to look at environment.
Mhm.
I'm vaguely remembering that structure.
So if I can just reflect back on what we said, so you held separate meetings on those individual topics so that people could come to provide their input on in those individual
Yeah.
topics, so you'd have one meeting on housing, economic
Yeah.
growth and development, and then on another date.
Yeah.
You would have another, oh, that would parse it out, because those are pretty heavy topics
Right.
to tackle all together.
And it allowed people who might be more. Have serious environmental concerns
Mhm,
to come to that one and not to have to sit through all the rest.
mhm,
Again, this is a vague memory. I
Mhm.
could also be making it up.
mhm, mhm. Yeah, good, good. So,
How does that dovetail with three? Like, I'm looking at 208 here, and they have a lot of, they have topics, the state goal analysis for each one of these things. And strategies.
I'm not sure.
That's kind of a general.
This is a higher, I think it's a higher level document.
Yeah, I mean, the statute is what sets the overall requirement, then you've got the regs, which are gonna spell it out in greater detail. And really, this checklist is a functional summary, a practical summary of a lot of those requirements. Taken down to the level of specificity. And sorry, are you?
Yes,
Yeah.
thank you.
So to sum up some of the discussion, and I would echo what Paula said in terms of we've got regulatory requirements we have to meet, which I liken to, there are bins we gotta fill. You know, we got this bin, we got this bin, we got this bin. But what we put into those bins, other than the specific requirements having to do with data, for example, and analyses, is largely up to us, what the substantive content is gonna be. So, for example, of the key issues that I heard mentioned and that we're all aware of, you know, Androscoggin Lake and its health is right up there. Well, that obviously fits in the environment and critical resources bin, you know. And we could probably spend, you know, 90% of the next year just focusing on that one issue. And a question in my mind, which I put out there, which I put out to the committee, is we clearly, it's a critical issue. How far do we have to go? We identify as an issue, yes, we say, what's our goal? Our goal is to get the lake better.
But what-
Okay, fine.
I just want to highlight something. The issue of Androscoggin Lake actually is a cross-cutting issue. because it has economic implications,
Mhm,
it has public health implications,
mhm.
and it has environmental implications.
I-
So it actually is a cross-cutting issue.
Yeah. And it's also cross-cutting jurisdictional. It isn't.
Yes,
just
it's a
planning.
multi-jurisdiction,
So,
or as they call it, multi-municipal.
right.
That's the term that they use in the statute, multi-municipal.
But the question I throw out there is how far down that road do we need to go? Should we be attempting to come up with solutions? There are other.
Yeah, I know.
Like working.
Say that, we,
Yeah.
our job is not to
Right.
solve the world's problems.
Right,
We're kind of taking a picture and what direction do we wanna go?
right,
And we may suggest it, we're not gonna solve,
right,
we can't do that in
Right.
10 years, never mind.
right.
But we can
Suggest,
direct the research, they're already doing it, they've got a big budget increase from 30 Mile River that will go toward all of the additional
Mm,
testing that we need to do.
Yeah.
To develop a plan, but the 30 Mile River and the Androscoggin, what are we called? No, it's Androscoggin Steering Committee, that's what we are.
oh, right,
Yeah,
Has contracted with an environmental consultant and a plan is being put together and the DEP and the EPA and they're
Yeah.
all putting in
Yeah.
their pieces.
Yeah.
And I'm learning all kinds of new vocabulary.
are you on the steering committee?
Mm.
Okay, wonderful.
And one of the
Got it.
reasons I was
Got it.
asked, I think, is because I am not a lakefront property owner.
mhm.
And it's important that we make sure everybody understand that this is not a lakefront property problem.
Yeah.
So I think that's why I was asked to be on the committee. It certainly wasn't for
Okay.
my science background. But it's, that's moving forward, so we can identify it, we can say we wanna put resources towards
Yeah.
it, but we don't have to come up with.
We're,
a solution.
yeah, clearly.
If I may just add one other thing, they use the word must in here. Must is a very strong word like shall,
Hmm.
right? And they talk about the implementation strategy because, that's where the rubber hits the road, right? The strategies and timetable must guide the subsequent adoption of policies, programs, and land use ordinances, including a capital investment plan for the replacement and expansion of public facilities and services required to meet projected growth and development, and periodic review of the comprehensive plan. So, it's a pretty tall order, even including development of a capital investment plan.
That's basically what our infrastructure committee is supposed to do.
Yeah.
And so,
so we
Yes,
asked,
thank goodness
I
that
was, assume would have sent
yeah,
the.
So just to continue down that little checklist I put together, so the lake was one, another that was mentioned, at least in passing, is the school, which of course we all realize is a critical issue, and that falls probably under the general rubric of public welfare in terms of those three categories you outlined. And incidentally, I was in reviewing this recently, I was struck by the fact that the number one recommendation when it was things we should be doing back in 2016 was support the elementary school and support the continuation of the elementary school. That even back then is viewed as a key issue. We mentioned internet access, which maybe the problem has been solved, but maybe not. No, so that I think is a potentially significant issue that again would fall under public welfare. And then the big kahuna, housing, which is, it has its own category, housing, economic growth and development. So those were kind of the lake, the school, and the internet and housing were kind of four big topics that I jumped out. And I'm not, and I'm trying to map those back to the public input required to the general areas. But I think they map pretty well. And I think those are now, part of our job is to go out and hold these public input sessions, hearings, if they rise to that level. And people may have other issues. My guess is 90% of it will fall into the categories we've got right here. But that's not for us to decide at this point. It's for us to
We
figure
got
out.
an agenda item to develop it, plan a community event and
Mhm,
what that's could be the starting point. And
mhm.
we don't have to wait for anybody else.
Nope.
Yeah.
We can know now.
Yeah.
There's-
So should we move on to that next topic on the agenda, which is
Yeah.
discuss and plan a
Yeah.
community event? Are we ready to do that?
Yeah.
Okay. So, discussion.
Well, I think the idea of doing something at the rec center pre-noticed and. But I also think we need to be prepared somewhat. We should do our homework on whatever topic is gonna be covered in that hearing
Yeah, yeah,
prior to the hearing.
yeah.
Cause that's an input thing. That's not for us to argue or discuss.
Sure.
And
Sure.
we could just do our stuff, get the input, review it again.
Yeah.
Work on the next section.
It would be really wonderful to have somebody who was a skilled facilitator to gather. To have a structure for gathering the thoughts and keeping track of. What people are saying, because we're supposed to absorb it, not generate it.
Right. Yeah, we're not supposed to generate, right?
Right.
That's why I feel.
Yeah, I know, I agree.
You know, it's interesting that people don't ever put things on paper and submit them. They come to speak, they leave. That's one of the problems. I fair amount of that have experience with public policy and hearings and all this business. And that all relies on written submissions. And maybe we should get people a little bit into the habit of saying, write down what you think and give it to us. There are gonna be other people who won't, and that's okay too. It's not necessarily to exclude anybody, but it's just one of the facts that we do, and you know what I'm talking about, that we could go with, I think on the record, and they could help us by putting it on paper.
Yeah,
I
we
think
could, we could encourage people. I don't think we should require
No.
them, but we can certainly encourage them to give us written submissions, which will make.
There are
things easier.
many techniques we could use to gather qualitative information in a group setting. We can do small group, focus group discussions. We can have people submit their input on, kind of index those larger size
Yep.
index cards. We can have breakout groups with flip chart papers where information is gathered on flip charts. There are several different techniques we could adopt to gather that information. We would just have to decide what the mechanism is that we would
Yeah.
want for this kind of quasi qualitative research. that
And just jumping ahead for a minute, the next item after this is to draft a community survey and, you know, is this what you had in mind, a community survey for input on exactly these kinds of
I
issues?
believe at the last meeting, the committee had actually started talking about that, and so that's why I put that in there. You had started talking about doing some kind of an event, I don't know if it was before or after the town meeting. Probably before, to kind of gather that input and then talk about it. Or it was right after the town meeting to sit there and advertise for it when you go to the town meeting, hey, we're having a comprehensive planning meeting, we really want you to come out. But structuring it in the way you had also talked about those small groups. And I think what you had mentioned in the Title 30A, some of those requirements, like your hot topics, I think that you could, I think you could easily create an overview of the comprehensive plan and what you're looking to accomplish, what your goals are for that meeting, and then looking at the implementation strategies and what was presented in 2016 and what was accomplished through the village committee, and then talk about some of that, just to give some feedback to the community as far as how that was implemented. And then saying, all right, we're gonna break out into groups of 5 or 10 people, and we're gonna go over these 3 things. So when you go to this. We have them right now, but there's some like sheets, you can sit there and write out certain things. And have a facilitator there, whether it's one of each of you, and you focus on one topic. And you have a list of questions, open-ended questions, and have people either come up and write on the board, or you can write on the board to be more engaging. I attended actually something through the schools up at Marina School one time for the how they were looking at prioritizing goals for the Department of Education. And so what they did is they had the participants come and they went around to each of the tables and they wrote down certain things, like what they thought was a priority or challenges to having artificial intelligence in schools, what was hindering, or what would help provide students better opportunities. And so I think that's something you could do for this as well. It's just a matter of structuring it. And then I think that you had also talked about creating a survey in advance to maybe help shape those questions.
Yeah.
And so you could, if you devise a list of questions for the communities, I could even send it out to our local businesses. I think we had talked about. And so local businesses, we could send it out, have it here at the office. So if anyone wanted to pick up a sheet, fill it out while they're sitting here waiting for
Do it
something.
online as well, as
And online.
the many emails that come
There's-
from you,
Yeah.
actually, from this office. One of them could be, hey, we're soliciting community support. If you're interested, fill out this survey and tell us what you want.
Absolutely.
To put something together with the first town meeting has a lot of appeal, even though a lot of people will go. But last town meeting was very, quick.
Yeah.
I was surprised. They voted for everything and this time might be different, but the things that they have to vote on are things that you either look at it and say it's a good or not. They're not gonna read it all. And so if you're, say, town meeting, coffee break, and then for those that are interested, we'd like you to stay for half an hour or 45 minutes for initial public involvement session.
Oh,
I mean, it's tough enough to get.
Yeah, I was gonna say,
Yeah.
Don't think
It's a
so?
good idea, but I'd rather do it separate.
Okay.
right.
But I do-
For it.
But I
But
do
it could be,
think, yeah,
certainly can be advertised.
somebody
Okay.
should
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
speak at a town meeting to
The
let
chairman.
people know,
Yep, we
yeah,
should-
let people know.
5 minutes, quick summary of.
Yeah,
Very short.
I tend to agree with what I think I heard from majority voices, that it's hard enough to get everybody corralled in there for the town meeting. To get them to stay for another meeting is a real challenge, but absolutely, we can use that as an opportunity to get the word out. We're going through this planning process. We're gonna be holding certain sessions, and maybe we can even by that point have a specific agenda and say, next Wednesday, we're gonna do that, and the month after that, we're gonna do this, and here are the dates and times and places.
Yeah, that would be really good.
Yeah.
Because I think half the battle is getting the word out and getting people aware of it and then getting them engaged, which, yeah, is another matter, but. So the town meeting is what day, what's the date?
June 10th.
June 10th. So, okay, so we have a couple of months still to plan for that, to begin to get our act together. And but let's, are we agreed that we should definitely put on something at the town meeting to get the word out,
To advertise,
to advertise it,
Get an
to
awareness level.
kick it off in a
And
sense, you know?
Are we agreeing that we want to start with a survey first in order to help us form the questions that we deal with at each of our sessions, however many there are?
I think so.
So I'm on
I
the
think it'll
aging
help.
at home committee. God, I'm doing a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, and Stan has sent out several Survey Monkey surveys. To try and generate, what do people want from aging at home? What do we need to do? Where are you? And we've gotten some really good feedback. It hasn't been, over the top participation, but we've gotten some really good feedback. And I think that is a very convenient way for people to do it.
And that's, would you be willing to do something like that for us?
I think he prides himself on his ability to write
Yeah,
survey questions.
yeah.
Because there's an art to it.
You're gonna be careful, survey questions.
Yeah, yeah, and I think, this one won't be tricky, but it would.
They're all tricky.
Um,
They all have to be very.
yeah, so I think
Right, so you don't
he would be a
bias.
good resource,
Exactly.
plus he knows how to use Survey Monkey.
Otherwise, the surveys.
Correct. Garbage in, garbage out.
So just to get the sequence here, I think we're, agreeing that a community survey is probably a good place to start. It's an easy start, particularly compared to some of the others. We definitely want to do a kickoff informational session, or whatever we want to call it, at the town meeting. Do we want to do anything in between those two? Do we want to have a side, or should we have all the later input sessions after the town meeting, after the word is out?
You mean
Yes,
the
after.
qualitative
Yeah.
session?
Yes.
Yeah.
I
The
think
survey,
we should have them after, we should have them as we,
yes.
I don't think, I'm not sure we can schedule more than one at a
Mhm.
time. We need to get our ducks in a row. and then
Yeah,
have a
yeah,
meeting.
yeah.
I think,
I think the survey
I don't know what the survey
informs the questions that are asked in the kind of focus group qualitative research,
Mhm.
discussion groups that would happen in the small groups
Mhm.
after town meeting.
And one of the things that you hope comes out of that, the survey is done independently, you're home, you're by yourself, you're doing your thing. But when you come to a meeting and you play off the ideas of others,
Right.
sometimes things bubble up that nobody was expecting. That's really the goal.
Right. That's right.
It was mentioned once before, and I think I will volunteer to do something. What was done as a result of the comp plan?
Yeah,
What
yeah.
was done, what was done, and what was not? For example, did we get any grants, any town grants as a result? The whole reason for doing the comprehensive plan is you don't get grants unless you got a comprehensive plan. We haven't talked about that, but that's true.
well, they had, there was some grants, I remember. We got the Memorial Park sidewalk
Okay.
lights,
Yeah, okay.
Right?
whatever that value is to you. But we had some community action plans too. They did, something went to the corner store and the general store.
Yep, they
Oh,
split a grant.
That's right.
And I don't know, there's probably, I mean, I'm
That would
stuck
be
over here, in
the-
Florida, so I don't see it.
So I know it came through,
That's right.
That was a
Block grant.
the state aid,
No, block grants, I think.
Yeah, I think so. So Stan Wayne might know.
Anyway, I don't know.
You know.
Why don't I just try to smoke out what kind of things happen
yeah,
as a result, strictly as a result of this program, not the things that just happened, but
Mhm.
this program put together. And that would be interesting.
Yeah, that would be very
We did go
useful.
through quite an evaluation effort, and for a long time, every town meeting had a list of the 5 big events, big results of that. And we said, well, what have we done about X, this past year? So it could be boiled down that far.
Right.
But
So did I hear you? So you're volunteering?
I'll
that
volunteer.
to do it? Excellent, thank you.
I'll
Lloyd.
come to the next meeting.
So what are you gonna do, Lloyd? You're gonna try and find out what to implement?
Yeah.
we did,
Yeah,
Yeah,
That's good, that was that information.
and that will be very helpful at the town meeting.
Yes,
For those,
for credibility.
yeah,
and we can also pass things out on paper without having to, without having to make a speech out of it. We've got people in the room and we'll take us up home and read.
We have to establish our street cred.
right,
I can get on Survey Monkey too and just
So he can do that. That's
set up an account and see what it's like and
Making up the questions.
do you know Stan Davis?
Yeah.
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 Have a conversation, he's
Yeah.
very
Okay.
fair,
Yeah.
yeah,
He'll do a survey at the drop of a hat.
he
Uh-huh.
loves his surveys,
He still does.
yeah,
So, yeah, he'd love to get involved.
it's a good way to get information.
so Chris, I heard you, thank you also for volunteering. You're gonna look at the Survey Monkey and set up an account for this purpose. Do you,
Yeah.
is that, do we have to set it up in the name of the town? How does that work?
Think that you, I mean, I would set it up as comprehensive plan for the
Yeah.
town line.
Okay, all right. We don't already have an account for the, okay. And then what about actually
Questions.
drafting the
I
questions?
can take a stab at drafting some questions.
Okay.
But Stan, you said he likes to draft them. I mean, I've done.
I think you should go for it. Try it.
Yeah.
We can, maybe draft some, I don't think it's too many,
Circulate them.
and email to us. and-
Yeah.
Correct, do not want too many,
Brainstorm.
Not more than,
10 questions.
I would say that's a good number, 10.
yeah.
And
Yeah.
Send
people
out
will
the
go
staff
through a
and
10-question survey. They
Yeah,
may not get
and not-
25.
And not, questions like, describe what you think about this.
Oh, no, they'll be
Multiple
closed,
choice, multiple,
they'll be
yes.
closed
Like a
ended.
good professor, multiple choice.
Yeah, close-ended with an opportunity at the end,
Yeah.
any additional thoughts, kind of thing.
Yeah,
Is there, should be, these should be ranked as a 1 to 5 or something like that, or what
Yes.
is the, that's one,
Yeah,
but
they-
that's not the only.
How important is this to you on a scale of 1 to 5? That's,
I mean, they have different mechanisms for answering questions like slider bars and rank choice and things like that. So
that'll be up to what is available.
Yeah.
Probably have to pay.
I'm sure that, maybe they have, yeah, entry level. Maybe the freebie is.
Right.
Yeah, the free,
Basic.
looks like there's a free account that you can.
Yeah.
At least try it, and
Yeah.
I can at least give one a shot and see
Okay,
what the mechanics are behind it.
see what type of questions
Yeah.
it'll allow.
Right, yeah.
Excellent.
Shannon's gonna get right onto AI and say, what are some good questions
Well,
for
that's-
comprehensive? Yeah.
All right, well, I think we've, if discussion is completed on the community survey, I think we have a plan of action there. The only other thing that's still on the agenda for new business is scheduling the next meeting. Unless there are other topics you want to continue exploring tonight.
I think we had a productive investigation, we should,
Okay. Good, let's, what is your pleasure for the next meeting?
We have to consider Bob's availability.
Hmm,
Now, we started out with Thursdays, but then decided against Thursdays. And it landed on Wednesdays, but now Wednesdays appear to be not a very good day.
And we definitely have to have it in the evenings, is that right? Because, I mean, I'm flexible,
Well,
but
Bob,
Office not-
But
The survey
Bob
month-
is not available in
Yeah.
the daytime.
the survey monkey thing, pilot testing.
No, that's a doodle.
we're all sitting here.
It's a doodle.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
We can test, I
Big
mean,
doodle.
we can test it out just amongst ourselves.
Okay,
Yeah,
So. Fire department, so first Wednesdays, and is this a first Wednesday? No,
well, they meet every Wednesday, they do something.
they meet every
Wednesday.
second Wednesday, third Tuesday,
And then Wednesday.
First one,
fourth and fifth.
third Tuesday.
The third Wednesday,
so Tuesday, the three,
Something, but I don't know if it's every
the first
Thursday.
one is the after.
can we consult him about that?
I'll go ask him that.
Because, I mean, Thursday is a good day for me.
well, it's a little tight for us.
Right, well,
but-
except to the extent that it conflicts with that other board meeting. But it depends on what.
Yeah,
Yeah, we're not meeting every Thursday, so.
Yeah.
That's right.
And are we still thinking monthly or twice a month?
oh, that was another thing I wanted to raise, if we limit this to once a month. We're not gonna get anywhere very fast.
I would agree with that.
And we looked at the charge to see if we could do subcommittee meetings to work on things. In smaller groups to try to get more work done in between full committee meetings to see if, like, maybe Ford and I wanted to work on something together. In between the regular meeting,
Of a work session or something.
like a work session, yeah.
It wouldn't be a public meeting.
Well, my
But-
reading
but-
is,
but-
charge
but
is that
then
we
we-
can't really do that.
But then
Yeah.
we read the charge, it didn't look
Oh,
like that was
yeah.
permitted.
That basically, all our business has to be conducted in meetings and it has to be publicized in advance, so people
Yeah.
are aware of it and have. an
It
extra-
didn't mention anything about like only if there's a quorum
Yeah.
or.
Yeah, he said every Wednesday and Thursday,
Is
and he gets off work at 5.
every
Oh, so he
every
can't,
Wednesday and Thursday is off?
is
Is
unavailable.
unavailable, okay,
Yeah.
so it has to be, so it's to be after 5 and it has to be a day other than.
Okay.
Wednesday.
It's gotta be Monday or Tuesday.
So does anybody have a conflict on a Monday or a Tuesday?
It's a select board,
Yeah, Tuesday we'll run into. the
Alright, Tuesday is no good.
right, alternate Tuesdays, then the Tuesdays in between that it could be done.
What happens on Tuesdays? Oh, select board.
Select board.
Yeah,
It's not every week. though.
no, every other week, every other week, but
Hmm.
only twice in a month, so that,
So how about a Monday?
Monday works for me.
okay.
It's fine. Now, so if we're gonna try to move towards a schedule of meeting every couple of weeks as opposed to every month, I think that might be how you were out of the room about that. That puts us towards the end of this month. And Paul and I are gonna be out of town from the 24th through the 5th. So unfortunately, the earliest we could meet.
Maybe 11.
Perhaps we could have a deadline for circulating some written material in between.
You can also do some emails,
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
Yeah,
that's also a way to get Bob involved too, is
Mm.
through his emails. And if there's other opportunities, like Chris dialed in on Zoom, I hope that worked out all right.
yeah, it was good.
So
Right.
there's some other opportunities.
It's not as good as being here, but it was good. So does the 11th of May work for people for our next meeting?
That's fine with me.
Yes.
And I would set it earlier, but as I say, we're gonna be out of town, so.
Yeah.
I think that's the earliest we
I'm gonna be remote and I have surgery the next day on May 11th, but
Oh.
Is there routine or?
I can do it on the.
That's your meniscus, right?
Yeah.
Colonoscopy.
No, it's
So May 11th at what time?
6:30?
Same time?
Should we,
Same time, same
do
place?
we want 6:30 or do we wanna go? Well, I think that we made it 6:30 because of the Hazel's
Yeah,
availability.
that's right.
We keep talking about Hazel and he's not on the committee, so.
Well, that's why I mentioned, do we wanna keep it at 6:30 or do we wanna make it 6?
Or even 5:30, I don't know how Bob gets up at 5, you said, right? So how?
He does.
I always go earlier than 6.
What, pardon me?
I would not prefer earlier than 6.
Okay, so, but 6 o'clock is okay?
6 would be okay.
Okay,
Do we prefer 6 over 6:30?
I'd rather 6:30, but I'll come at 6.
Do you prefer 6:30?
No, it's fine.
6:30, yeah.
I don't wanna go to 9:30 either. Yeah.
right.
Yeah, nobody wants to have that.
Scary.
The ball drops at
I'll
8:30.
be.
Okay, so what did we decide?
So I think 6 o'clock,
Six P.M. is good.
6 p.m.,
Okay,
May 11th,
scooch it
Monday,
up
May
to
11th.
6.
Okay.
Okay?
Does this location work?
Yes.
Yeah, works, right for me, yeah. Oh, yeah.
So
Okay.
this works out nice.
Good.
Okay,
Good,
so
good.
May 11th at 6 o'clock.
Okay, excellent. All right,
And then we're gonna aim for every 2 weeks.
Yeah, I was gonna say, why don't we schedule 2 meetings?
Yes.
okay, good idea.
Oh, but then the next one is Memorial Day.
Right, well, we could slide 1 more week after, I think.
June 1st.
Is that a Tuesday?
That's a Monday.
Monday, right, yeah, after, yeah. Yeah,
Does that work?
that's almost May.
Yeah. All right, and
So-
June 1st.
That's
Okay, now that's getting us out towards the town meeting, so we want to have our presentation. So how much time?
Should we do it a week earlier then? Or is it-
Meet 2 weeks in a row, like the 11th and the 18th.
5 to 8 minutes as far as your time is concerned.
Pardon me,
5 to 8 minutes.
you think that's?
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah.
That would be,
Very short.
that'd be
Yeah.
five good slides. And by good slides, I mean good slides, not slides filled with that.
I mean, you basically just gonna say, we're going on this thing, we're gonna want your input.
Yeah,
We're
yeah,
gonna be putting out a survey,
yeah.
please take it, we want your input.
Well, do we hold off the survey until then? I was thinking we'd actually do the survey before that.
No,
meeting.
I don't know, I don't care.
But you meant you're trying to do the survey beforehand to inform the meeting that you're gonna have.
That's what I was thinking, but we don't have to do it that
But we
way.
could have some additional surveys there for anyone who hasn't filled it out yet. And still, I mean, at the bottom of the survey, it could be a reminder, hey, we're gonna be scheduled for this comprehensive plan. Community outreach day, evening,
So Paula, you're working on the questions. What do you think? So
So we're gonna, the survey is gonna be about, survey is gonna be general questions about what they think about stuff in the plan. right? Not what they think about whether we're gonna have a meeting.
Right, well,
It's gonna
yes,
inform.
yes. Yeah. What are the issues of importance to you?
But the meeting, again, back to having a meeting, I think we should be very structured. We shouldn't throw the whole plan in a meeting.
No.
No,
We need to do it in pieces, yeah.
Yeah.
I'm wondering if,
That's what I was talking to.
oh, that's my big
Linda and I
memory.
are still thinking about the meeting.
Yeah, I'm wondering if we wanna do the 11th and the 18th
Yeah,
to set ourselves up.
for
If we
success.
have to meet on June 1st, then we will to be
Mhm.
ready for town meeting.
Mhm.
But we would have
Okay.
met on the 11th and the 18th.
Okay,
Back to back.
okay. Get
Back
some
to back. I
momentum
think
going.
back to back.
Yeah, momentum's a good
You
thing.
know, if you can't make it, you can't make it, yeah.
Yeah.
I think that's,
I can do both those dates, May 11, May 18. We all okay with that?
Are we gonna keep the first penciled in also?
And
Uh,
first.
yeah, let's put the first as well.
ink it in.
I'm gonna be, really,
Keep it on the calendar.
we're gonna be told.
The 11th and the 18th, 6 o'clock.
Yeah. All right,
Yeah, because time is short before
before
the town meeting.
Yeah, yeah.
Town meeting's gonna be here before we know.
Yeah,
it.
I think you're right. I think you're right.
I'm sure you're feeling that
Oh,
already.
yes, I sure am.
Oh, yeah, oh, yeah.
Okay,
Well, I think also keep in mind, maybe, I mean, we set ourselves on. And,
ambitious.
timeline, you know,
Well,
we had a goal of
yeah.
the year, but we said at the time, that may not be realistic, you know,
Yeah.
Yeah,
I'm guessing that's not realistic.
yeah. well,
So I don't.
Aim high and
Right, but I
get as high as we
I
can.
don't wanna span in three meetings a month to try. and-
Yeah, no, I think,
Well, we.
No, I
have to get
agree.
to that
Just to get off the
town
ground.
meeting.
I think this is an accelerated schedule in order to get us to
Right, that-
kick off most
Off the
of it.
Yeah, hopefully get the survey, and that should be on the next meeting agenda, I think.
Yes.
Yep.
Yes, that would be.
Yeah,
And then if we need more time, we do the 18th or.
You're gonna take responsibility for that?
for those questions.
Yeah.
So the,
Yeah,
the things we've got, we've got
And,
your follow-up on the last plan, and we've got Paula and Chris on the survey.
And if is it okay to assume if we have a question that we'd like on a survey, we can send it to you?
Yeah,
You have to
Sure.
Draft it.
Yes,
Absolutely.
and we have each other's email addresses. Right? Did we get
Yeah.
that?
Yeah,
Well,
there are limits on our ability to meet, but I don't think there are any limits on our ability to email each other, or even text each other if we were to do that.
Right, as long as we're not as long as we're not discussing. Yeah,
Did
you
we get
gotta be
Yeah,
careful.
yeah.
we can't discuss.
You can
Outside.
disseminate information, but we can't say, well, how do you feel? about
Right,
that?
right,
Yeah, you have to have people do the homework and do sort of subgroups on these various topics, and they're not gonna document that, that's it.
Oh, yeah. Right here.
Two people can, you and I could get together.
Right, two people,
Not three.
not three.
Yes, you want to hear a motion for adjournment?
So,
Okay.
Second.
Was that a second, Chris?
I second.
No, Lynette said, okay. And all in favor? Okay, meeting adjourned. Thank you very much.